take roll call.
Chair Updike,
Here.
Vice Chair Kendall,
Here.
Commissioner Bigelow, Commissioner Clausen,
Here.
Commissioner Rabb,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Starkey. Chair, we have a quorum.
At this time, members of the public may comment on matters not on the agenda. The commissioner's response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Are there any communications from citizens at this time?
Chair, we have no communication from citizens.
Okay, we'll now move into the administrative items. Consider approval of minutes for the regular meeting held on November 19th, 2025. When are we voting in? Are there any edits the commission wishes to make?
Chair Updike, for the order of this meeting, could we
Not
do
skip
the
a
swearing
page?
in? Yeah, could we
Yeah.
do the swearing in and the recognition before the minute approval, please?
I thought I was looking for where we swear in Gina, so let's do that. Yeah, we are winging it. Okay, Councilmember Torgerson, take it away. Thank you for swearing in our newly appointed Commissioner, Gina Starkey.
I, Gina Starkey,
I, Gina Starkey,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Arizona
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Arizona
and the ordinances of the Town of Gilbert, Maricopa County, Arizona,
and the ordinance of the Town of Gilbert and Maricopa, Arizona,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office
of a Town of Gilbert Redevelopment Commission member
of a Town of Gilbert Redevelopment Commission member
in Gilbert, Arizona,
in Gilbert, Arizona,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. So I do affirm.
You were done, young lady.
All right. Did I find it?
She will not be coming back for an encore.
Thank you.
And we do want to recognize Adam Baugh, who I love to give a hard time to. It pains me to say it. I actually like this gentleman. I'd like to take a moment to thank Commissioner
Can
Adam
you say it a
Baugh.
little slower? Just
Would you like to read it yourself? I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank Commissioner Adam Baugh for his outstanding service on the Town of Gilbert Redevelopment Commission. Adam has been an invaluable part of our efforts to strengthen the heart of Gilbert with his service to the Heritage District. His insight, dedication, and collaborative spirit have helped guide important decisions that shape the future of our community. Adam played a key role in helping us enhance and refine redevelopment projects, ensuring they reflect both our vision and the character of the Heritage District. His leadership and thoughtful input were instrumental in advancing important work, including the efforts to increase building heights in the Heritage District, an initiative that supports growth while preserving the unique charm of our downtown. On behalf of the Commission and the Town of Gilbert, I thank you, Adam, for your commitment and your contributions. Your work has made a lasting impact, and we truly appreciate the time and expertise you shared with us. And I appreciate your friendship, sir.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much.
And, wait, and as a parting gift,
Oh, this is awesome.
See? Somebody get a picture of Adam looking official with us, please?
Give me one, me and Jim. The only thing missing is my T-shirt with your face on it.
You should have worn
I
that.
know, I should have
That would have
worn
been
it.
awesome.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Adam. I know that I appreciated working with you. I think everyone did as well. And welcome, alternate Commissioner Starkey. Okay, we're going to try this again, not skipping a page. It's 6:06, and now we're going to move into the study session. Study sessions are limited to the commission discussion. No public comment is taken. No action or vote will be taken this evening. The study session serves as an opportunity for the commission to dialogue and provide feedback on a proposed item prior to a public hearing. First up on the agenda is DR 25-171, Clare House Social, and Kristen, take it away, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for having me tonight. The first project I have for discussion for you is going to be Clare House Social. The site is located on Gilbert Road, just east of Vaughan. It is between Building 313 and Joe's Barbecue. It used to operate as the former Burgess Coffee House. Tonight we're going to be seeking input from you on elevations and any general feedback you'd like to provide on the project. All right, so the site is located on approximately 0.19 acres. You most recently saw this a couple of years ago for a previous development that is no longer moving forward and is now moving forward as a Clare House Social. The concept is to keep the site as is with the Clare House. It's important to note that the Clare House isn't intended to go anywhere. They're going to be trying to incorporate that into the design of the site by providing some fresh paint on it and then providing indoor seating within this building. In addition to keeping the Clare House, they're going to be adding 2 additional buildings. You'll see on the west side of the property, there's a new L-shaped building. That building's going to be utilized mostly as kind of a walk-up kiosk style where food and beverage vendors will be located. Pedestrians can access those walk-up windows from Gilbert Road, and you can also access those windows from internal to the site. The smaller building located to the east of the site is going to be used for restroom buildings. I think one of the most interesting features about this site is that they are intending to keep it as kind of an outdoor patio gathering area similar to how the Burgess Coffee House operated. And to do so, they're going to be adding in a large pergola, roughly about 1,500-ish square feet, that's going to be placed central to the site. On that pergola, you're going to find hanging greenery periodically. You can see kind of rough estimations of where that's going to be in the dark gray boxes up on that top left image. Underneath that pergola, there's going to be various seating types for patrons to utilize once they go to the walk-up window to get their food or beverage. Central to that pergola, there's also going to be a cutout so that a large tree can pop through that cutout. All right, so moving on to the elevations, this is the existing Clare House. Again, they're keeping it mostly as is. They're providing some fresh paint on it in very neutral desert toned colors. It looks like there is a water fountain structure being added to a portion of it as well. And these elevations are going to highlight the new buildings that are being proposed. So I've included images from all sides. You can see the south elevation, the elevation from Gilbert Road, the east elevation, and the north elevation. Staff does have a few comments on the particular colors. Specifically, we're not confident that the colors of this new building matches the paint refresh that's going to be utilized on the Clare House building. So we would just want some more complementary colors to be coordinated into that. In addition, per the Heritage District design guidelines, anything located on Gilbert Road needs to be of a historic early 20th century style architecture, something that's turn of the century. We're not confident that this proposed architecture meets that. It does lean into a bit more modern architecture. It's primarily an EFA structure with a concrete base. The lighting is very unique, but it's very contemporary. So we have encouraged the applicant to continue exploring the unique elements and keeping that, but maybe utilize some more historic style lighting or something that kind of brings that turn of the century feel into the design of the building. In conversations with the applicant, it's been referenced that they want to take kind of topo as a reference point, which is great. But to do so, we kind of encourage that maybe the proposed tiling that they are utilizing underneath the walk-up windows, that could be more of a topo style where it's more of Spanish, kind of similar to the previous Clements Garage approval that you saw, something along those lines that pulls in more Spanish architecture, which is kind of turn of the century. These are some 3D renderings to kind of give you a bit more context as to what it looks like instead of just looking at the flat elevations. All right, and I'm sorry, I just want to back up to the elevations for one more moment. One additional concern that we did have was that south elevation. It is located on a property line, so there are limitations to what can be done on that elevation in regards to openings, just due to fire code. There's not a lot that can be done there. But we did ask if the applicant can take some additional looks at that to see if there's some cost-effective ways to add some interest to that elevation, whether it's material variation or maybe adding a mural or something. Their neighbor is Joe's Barbecue. It's an outdoor venue. So for now, it's vacant, and that elevation is very visible, so we would encourage some sort of interest to be added to that where possible. All right, and this is just zooming in a little bit on those colors and materials that are being proposed. And then a quick snap of the floor plan. You can see the Clare House is being utilized for indoor seating, and then the pergola is going to be all outdoor seating with only service use for the new buildings, no indoor seating for those. And then again, we're just looking for your general feedback and specifically feedback on those elevations. And I am available for your questions if you have them, as is the applicant.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Kristen?
Before we move into that, I'm sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing that I didn't touch on. They are specifically coming to the Redevelopment Commission. This could go through an admin, but they chose to come to you because they are requesting permission to do a single-story building. In the LDC, any new construction should be 2 stories, but the Redevelopment Commission does have the ability to grant single-story development. Sorry, thank you.
No, thank you for clarifying that. I have a question, so maybe I'll just jump in first. On that material finish legend, there's that exterior wall tile, WT1. It has some kind of fun movement and geometry to it, and then we see the hatching in those renderings, and it, which I understand isn't going to match perfectly, but is it just in that west elevation that we're seeing that kind of geometric tile?
So it looks like, Chair update, it looks like it's going to be utilized on Gilbert Road, on the north elevation, and on the east elevation.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I like, the more that I, just thinking out loud, look at some of the textures presented in the actual finishes, I think that helps me personally to visualize the fact that there will be some more movement than what's maybe portrayed in the elevations as they are. That was my only question so far. Thanks. Chair Rob?
I guess first of all, I'd like to say that I'm happy to see a proposed project on this site. I wasn't here when the last project came through for this site. I think it is a good site where something needs to be added. You talked about the south elevation. I guess my question has to do more with since that's on the property line, which I realize a lot of buildings are on the property lines in the Heritage District, obviously, have you talked about encouraging the applicant to actually talk to Joe's Barbecue about how they could enhance that, the way that looks, considering I know it's their building, it's on their property, but it's the Joe's Barbecue outside area that's going to be looking at it every day.
So Chair update, Commissioner Brab. No, so the project is in first review still. I've sent out some written comments, but we haven't had any direct feedback on what those comments are at this time. But I can definitely look into having them reach out to Joe's Barbecue. I know the previous development did have a mural that was approved on this, kind of for the same reason that Joe's Barbecue currently is open. There's not a building on that property line, so they did a mural just to add some interest to that elevation for the outdoor patrons of Joe's.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the applicant for coming in front of us in the first place. I actually think it's a breath of fresh air to see a site of such historical significance to kind of break up, the typical maximum density height. It'll be nice to see something of lower intensity, I think, on this site because of the historical significance. So I think the applicant, is doing this site justice by keeping it more intimate. I see what staff is saying on the colors and it leaning towards more of a contemporary or modern build. I do think the applicant could add pretty easily, whether it be through traditional cladding or veneers, just to break up some of that color, whether it be a color change or not. In addition, I think they could, topo above there, they have a very straight line on their windows, but then they've added arched elements to the actual structure above it. So I think they could also potentially incorporate arched elements in the doorways, entryways, above the windows potentially. Not a lot. I think it's a good mix between the new and the old and the marriage of those two things. And so I'm excited to see something happen on this site for sure.
Thanks, Chair Klassen. We agree as staff, we're very supportive of the use and of the single-story nature.
Thank you, Kristen. This is definitely a project that's I've been involved with back when it was the Clare House, and I think it's an amazing use of the space. And the incorporation of a house built in 1918 is, I think, quite unique and amazing. My only feedback would be the coloring, and it's flanked on both sides by brick, or at least brick color buildings. So maybe if there was more of an incorporation of that, but other than that, the use, the layout is amazing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Kendall. And just on the note of integration, I didn't mention, but just for your knowledge, the site is intended to unofficially and kind of integrate with Building 313 with that former prep and pastry patio. So the uses will kind of, as I'm throwing remotes around, sorry about that, the uses are intended to integrate.
Does that mean it'll have a free flow
Yeah.
between 313?
So you can kind of vaguely see here, they're removing part of the planter space up on the top part of that picture, which will connect the patio from 313 into the open space here.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Okay. Then I believe you're also presenting DR 25-172, Martin Beck residence.
I am, you're stuck with me. Right, thank you for your feedback on the previous project. So moving on, the next one I have is, I apologize if I mispronounce this, but the Martin Beck residence. It is a custom home that is being proposed in the Lacey Track community. Specifically, it's going to be located on the corner of Ash Street and Park Avenue. We're going to be looking for feedback tonight on elevations, general feedback, and some design guideline deviation requests, which is the reason that it's coming before the Redevelopment Commission this evening. You don't normally see custom home developments unless the design guidelines specifically request that they come before the RDC. All right, so this is the site plan. It's zoned SF6. It does have a heritage district overlay within it. It's approximately a 0.07 acre parcel. The home itself has a 1,570 square foot footprint. In total, it's going to be roughly 3,220 square feet. And the main reason we're here tonight is going to be regarding the elevations. So the proposed home is approximately 3 stories tall. It does include a rooftop patio on the 2nd story on the northeast portion of the home. Sorry, bear with me while I look through my notes. The materials proposed for the home are going to include stucco, some fiber cement siding, metal paneling specifically for some of the roof elements. You see that on the darker portions of the elevations here. And they're also proposing stone veneer, which is largely on that taller tower portion in the center of the home. All right, so specifically it's coming before you today because the Heritage District Design Guidelines for Lacey Tract do have specific requirements for that Lacey Tract community in regards to architecture, roof styles, building materials. So in the Lacey Tract community, the proposed architecture is meant to be early 1900 style architecture. So that's bungalow style housing, farmhouse style housing, arts and crafts style housing, maybe a little bit of mission, things like that. If an applicant wants to deviate from those architectural stylings, then they need to ask permission from the Redevelopment Commission. It does state that modern and contemporary architecture are not permitted. So staff does have concerns with how modern and contemporary this is leaning. You could make the argument that there is a little bit of maybe industrial influences within this design, but it is largely contemporary and modern, so some concessions will need to be made to kind of bring that out of the contemporary and modern architectural styling just to have you grant approval for them to develop this. We do have some concerns with the height of the building. The Land Development Code does allow a 36-foot building. I'm not sure what the height of this is yet. It wasn't included in the design submittal, but it is 3 stories, and we have let the applicant know that it can't exceed 36 feet, which I think they were aware of before this anyway, so it should be within those limits. Our concern is that although 36 feet is allowed, the design guidelines do specify that any new developments within the Lacey Tract community need to meet the massing and kind of sizing of the homes in the area, or it should meet those. And in the Lacey Tract community, you have older homes built in like 1917, as old as 1917, and they're much smaller. They're little single-story bungalow-style homes. So this is just kind of zooming in on some of those colors and materials that I talked about. So you have your fiber cement siding. It's mostly used in a vertical fashion. You have the stone veneer, which is largely on that tower element. You do have a portion of stucco, and then you do have that flat metal paneling used as the roof portion. The metal paneling is a deviation request that we have before you tonight because it's not a material that's allowed in the design guidelines, but can be granted by you. The roof line specifically is also a deviation request because gabled roofs are required in the design guidelines, and this is more of a parapet style roof. So for some context of the surrounding development, I wanted to provide some images on what around that lot looks like. So the X's indicate where the vacant lot is at today. So directly to the north is the top image. You see a single-story building. On the bottom image, you will see what is directly to the south, also single-story buildings. This is directly across the street, so also some single-story buildings. These are a little bit older. We wanted to provide some architectural examples of other homes that we found within the community. So again, mostly single-story. You do have some newer construction in here, but they do lean into that bungalow kind of farmhouse style with the board and batten siding, lots of colorful architecture. You do have a little bit of kind of Spanish influence in there every once in a while. You do have a little bit of stone veneer thrown in there as well, but it is all kind of integrated with that same early 1900s styling. Just for transparency, I did want to provide some examples of existing two-story developments that are in that area that I was able to locate. There's one under construction right now. You see that on the bottom portion. That is located just off Gilbert Road behind the gas station that's right there. You can see how that looks in proximity to the existing single-story home next to it. I included 2 images of a new development that is going in on Ash Street and Washington, so just north of Elliott. It's going to be a 2-story development as well. And then the image on the top left is an existing 2-story multifamily development. And then I wanted to provide where those 2-story buildings were located, so you can see the X's are where those perspective images are located within the district. And then I also included the South Anchor because this custom home kind of took inspiration from that South Anchor development. It is located on Ash Street, just like South Anchor. It's just more north. And the green circle indicates where the custom home is proposed. Right, so then going back to those deviation requests, the applicant is requesting some deviation on the architecture. Again, modern and contemporary isn't permitted, so there does need to be some element thrown in there to take it out of that category in order for you to grant permission for that. They are requesting deviation on the roof line to utilize that parapet style roof. They do have the kind of pitched element on that entry feature, but most of it is parapet style. And then the building materials using the metal, sheet metal roof. And I believe that touches on everything. I do just want to note, though, that the home itself is very attractive. We're just not confident that it fits into the character of the Lacey Tract area, and that's why we're bringing it forward for a study session tonight. So we value your feedback.
Okay, thank you. And does anyone want to start with their questions? Okay, I will go first. So I drove through the area as well, and I think one thing that I really appreciate about a standing seam roof is homeowners don't want to put a penetration through it. So unlike most of these neighbors, I would hope we're not going to see a vent, a rooftop unit. We're not going to see everything that's going on top of the roof. We're not going to have anything on the roof. It should all be hidden behind the parapets, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I can appreciate that with the non-conforming roof because now the roof design is more intentional. It's not just to weep water, right? So I appreciate that about a modern roof. For the 3 stories, how long have we by right been able to go 3 stories? Was that just in our redevelopment plan from 6 years ago, or was that before that as well?
So Chair Updike, that is a great question that I don't have the answer to. So Sydney has explained it was when the overlay was adopted, sometime in the 2010s.
Okay. So like maybe 15, 16 years or less. So I think we will, by right, continue to see people propose to go higher because those lots are so small. And that's another thing I noticed is even though the immediately adjacent lots were single story, you can easily see all of the Heritage District commercial buildings, which are higher and taller, and yeah. So I'm not opposed to the height either. Those are my immediate thoughts. Anybody else want to go? Commissioner Robb?
I guess my first question, and maybe you have to go back to the site plan. I don't know if I could see this on the site plan, but what is the setback to the north?
It is 3 feet. 3 feet.
Okay, because I also drove the site to take a look at it, and it looked like the building could be very close to that other building. I don't think the other building the existing home is built that close to the property line? Because it seemed like they had a yard. Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, I agree that as time goes on, since the 36 feet is now permitted, that we're going to get more submittals like this. I do think that the home looks amazing. I agree with that. I have a little concern with some of the design guidelines that you put in here, because many of them say the Redevelopment Commission can consider, but the one about contemporary or modern architecture doesn't say that. It says it's not permitted. So we'd have to find a way around that.
Yeah, so Chair Updike, Commissioner Rabb, I think that we'd need to have some discussions with the applicant. I think that you could add some elements to this design to kind of take it out of that contemporary architecture, whether it be, off the top of my head, maybe an additional material or maybe some less blocky elements. I'm really not sure. We'd have to brainstorm with the applicant because it does lean very much into contemporary right now. But there are some industrial features. I mean, like it's got the seam metal roof and it's got stone veneer, which kind of helps. It's not primarily stucco and concrete. And so it does have possibilities.
Okay. My other question is about the deviations. So if someone is looking to build a home on a lot in Lacey Tract now, if they don't have any deviations, it doesn't come in front of the Redevelopment Commission, is that right?
Correct. So if there are by right allowances for design guidelines within Lacey Tract, and if they meet those design guidelines, then they just go to permitting and they can build their home. I would like to note that the setback you mentioned, they are within their rights to build 3 feet from the property line at 36 feet tall. It's just the design guidelines for Lacey Tract really discourage that and encourage you to meet more of the massing of the surrounding developments, which is kind of part of the conversation here. So it's a little bit of tug and pull on which one takes highest priority.
And I appreciate that you added those examples, because on my way here, that's one of the things I was thinking about. When was the last time something taller was built in the Lacey Tract, and were any deviations asked for then, or have you brought a project to the Redevelopment Commission in the last 5 years? No? Okay.
It's rare.
It's the first.
The ones that are the colored elevations, not actual images of a home, those are under review right now in building permitting. And they're considered an arts and crafts style architecture, which is allowed in the design guidelines.
Okay.
That's the most recent 2-story one that's still in review.
Okay, thank you.
And the applicant is here as well. If you have any questions specifically for them, just throwing that one out there.
No, I think Commissioner Robb covered my biggest question, and that was just, what is staff looking for the commission to discuss related to the architectural style? Because I think it's a beautiful design. I mean, it's a beautiful project, but yeah, I mean, Lacey Tract says contemporary or modern architecture is not permitted, so.
So if we were to tone down the contemporary and the modern aspect of it,
Yeah.
be it making some, I don't know, some
I think it could be
material
done too,
deviation.
yeah. I mean, whether it be colors, different material palette. I mean, again, you could, even the window designs, stuff like
yeah.
that. I mean, things absolutely could be done. Are you looking for specific input on like what
If
those
you
should
have it,
be?
sure. If not, no, just knowing that you would be comfortable with it moving forward, should it kind of drop a little bit less
I think it's
contemporary, then
hard
that's sufficient.
If the applicant wants to, lean into the industrial and kind of keep the heart and spirit of that design, I think they'll probably have to play around with multiple iterations of different material palettes and color palettes and see what works, right? I don't think any one thing is going to take it from the contemporary or modern and into, industrial or farmhouse, cottage, territorial ranch, whatever it is. I think they'll have to play around with a couple of different things.
It will come back before you for hearing as well,
Okay.
because it does require an official approval to be
Yeah,
deviate from the design guidelines.
understood. Got it. Okay.
I have a few questions about the access through the alley.
Okay, I can do my best.
Is that a public alley?
Yes.
Okay. It's a beautiful house. I think it's too big for the area.
May I ask what our thoughts are on the other two deviations with the roof line and the building materials? Are we in consensus that those are okay to move forward as is with the, I'm sorry, the roof material specifically? So the roof material and the roof line?
I think the material is fine. The use of standing seam metal roof, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think the roof line is a larger conversation that could potentially play into the architecture. I mean, those things, that might be something that they end up wanting to change that helps. It could still, you know, help the inspiration of the project to remain where it first started, but move it out of, you know, certain genres. So I don't know. It's hard to definitively say on the roof line because that is truly an architectural feature.
Thank you.
Is there anything specific that's taking it into that contemporary, like the use of metal?
I think it's just a collection of everything. It's the specific materials, the roof line styles, the colors. It's a little bit of everything.
It's beautiful.
It is a very attractive
The
home.
lacy tract is the only thing that's causing, I think, you know, everybody to go.
So our concern is that it
Yeah.
seems out of place in the neighborhood that's primarily older
Beautiful
developments.
design, yeah.
Yeah, I see things like the standing seam metal roof. I can extrapolate that to being a similar concept as siding on farmhouse. And I can look at the stone and think, well, you know, if we wanted to call this modern, I would have expected that to be a trend stone and not that type of a stone. So I think
Valuable.
the architect in me is seeing compromise because I'm seeing compromise. So, right, I'm seeing more mullions in the windows, which isn't, that already to me looks like a compromise. But, so I want to give feedback to make it easier, but I'm already seeing it. So that's where I'm struggling. Maybe, yeah.
If I may, would you consider this contemporary and modern, or would you call it something different?
See, when I drove around, I also saw a lot of those older homes repainting to black and white.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going to continue to see that. So I already see, we will continue to see this type of a design. So it's going to be a longer conversation for the first one. But I think there's a lot of character throughout the Heritage District in the residences, you know, and maybe driving that loop. You know, today it is harder to envision, but I like it, and I mean, you could play with a slightly different light fixture, bring in a more farmhouse light fixture, and now that light fixture is going to tie to that stone, and that stone is going to feel more farmhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, feedback. There you go.
Thank you.
I just think playing around with a few iterations is probably going to be what's best.
Okay.
I think the applicant could also lean into the, you know, quote unquote industrial by playing around instead of, you know, stone or just in various areas with, you know, like a honed stack CMU. And that would, you know, kind of push it more towards the industrial with exposed CMU grays and still look really cool. But So yeah, I think, you know, playing around with it's going to be the best.
Thank you.
I appreciate that you asked the architect her opinion, because I'm looking to her for her opinion on a lot of this too. And it just made me think, style of architecture. What would the applicant say this style of architecture is?
That's a great question. I believe they're here if you would like to take a stab at answering that. Again, this is still in first review, so we've had very minimal conversations about it.
Thank you for your feedback. The homeowner's here also, and this would be his personal residence. So, you know, with this project, it was designing to what he wants to see and what he wants to live in. And a lot of the inspiration photos when we started the project were a Scandinavian farmhouse, but we wanted to achieve the programming of this design and could only be done with a 3-story. So in doing a 3-story, the massing got, you know, we couldn't do a pitched roof on top. That's where the flat roofs, the parapet roofs started to come in, was to meet the building height limit, but trying to stick with that Scandinavian inspiration as much as possible. So I keep hearing industrial, and I think that is probably that's probably the closest we can get to, is push it more industrial. I can't, with the massing and the parapet roofs, I think it would be hard to say that it's farmhouse or anything else. So, you know, it definitely leans modern, contemporary, but we want to bring it into compliance, of course.
And if I may add, just to Chair Updike's point, driving around that neighborhood, you see a lot of those white and black houses now with a little bit of wood sprinkled out throughout there. So we did want to do justice by the area and kind of at least be as close as possible. And we felt like this would fit in while still kind of, you know, redeveloping the area a little bit different, but still, you know, still the same kind of idea. So.
And one more thing, I was really happy when Kareem was willing to spend the money to apply the different materials, the cement fiber and the stone veneer, so that it's just not just a white and black sterile box. That's not what we're trying to do. So that's where the materials we selected came in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to kind of add to that, I'm not familiar with Scandinavian farmhouse, so I would be more than happy to look into that and see if that's something that we can categorize it as. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That helped, because that explains some of the warmer woods and in that cement fiber panel. So yeah, that helped.
I will add that the top image in the middle is white and black with a wood fence.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from commissioners? Okay, well then, thank you for your feedback, and I will now adjourn the study session.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're moving on to the page that I started with, folks, so sorry about that. It's 6:44 p.m., and I'm calling the regular meeting to order. Would we like to take roll call again, or are we good?
Chair Updike, we're good with the first roll call.
Okay. At this time, members of the public may comment on matters not on the agenda. The commissioner's response, do we need to read this again if we already know that we have no comments?
Chair Updike, we're okay. We could go on.
Okay, great. All right, so let's move into administrative items. Consider approval of minutes for the regular meeting held on November 19th, 2025. Are there any edits the commission wishes to make?
Motion to approve November 19th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. If everyone could please vote. Okay, the motion passes. 5-0, okay. Public hearing. There's no items for public hearing at the meeting, so now we're moving into communications. So, I have no updates to make. Councilmember Torgerson, well, I take that back. we are very excited to have alternate Starkey here, so welcome. Yeah. Okay, Councilmember Torgerson, do you have anything that you'd like to report on?
Well, according to Dana Henderson, I do. Visitors and businesses in the Heritage District are encouraged to stay informed about upcoming developments in the Heritage District by visiting diggingthedistrict.com. This web page is regularly updated with details on development projects, parking, events, road closures, and other ongoing improvements within the Heritage District. It serves as a resource to keep visitors and businesses informed about construction impacts and ongoing changes downtown. And that is all that I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any update from anyone? Okay. Mike, do you have a staff update for us?
Chair update, no update for me this evening. Thank you.
Okay, then I will take a motion from someone to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Do we actually have to vote on that? We do. Okay. Can we all vote, please? Okay, motion passes. We get to adjourn, and it's 6:46. Thank you.